In this podcast episode, Ben Shapiro discusses the current electoral trouble that Joe Biden is facing in the upcoming election. According to polling averages from Real Clear Politics, Donald Trump is leading in swing states and national poll averages. Biden is underperforming, and Democrats are sounding the alarm. To address this, both Barack Obama and Bill Clinton have decided to get involved in the Biden campaign. Shapiro highlights the different governing styles of Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Clinton started off as a left-leaning Democrat, but swiveled back to the center after facing backlash in the 1994 congressional elections. On the other hand, Obama started as a moderate, but shifted to the left after passing Obamacare in his first 2 years. While both won re-election, Clinton's strategy of swiveling back to the center was more successful in appealing to a broader base. Obama and Clinton are now actively involved in Biden's campaign, with Obama providing advice and strategizing with top aides. They are set to appear together at a fundraiser for the Biden campaign. However, the real question is which strategy Biden will follow, the more moderate approach of Bill Clinton or the left-leaning approach of Barack Obama. Shapiro warns that following Obama's strategy of pandering to the radical left may not be the best move for Biden. Shapiro criticizes Biden for pandering to the progressive base by elevating issues like the conflict between Israel and Hamas, which are not top priorities for most Americans. He points out a video where Biden responds to protesters demanding support for Hamas, showcasing his willingness to cater to the far left. Shapiro argues that this strategy is misguided and may alienate moderate and independent voters. Shapiro delves into the progressive ideology that drives support for radical causes like Hamas. He explains that some on the far left align with anti-Western groups like Hamas as a way to show allegiance to movements that seek to dismantle Western values. This alliance of convenience highlights the extreme views held by some progressives and their willingness to support violent and oppressive regimes. Shapiro highlights a recent protest at Vanderbilt University where students called 911 because a protester needed a tampon during a sit-in. The protesters demanded special treatment and harassed administrators and police officers, showcasing their entitlement and lack of respect for authority. Shapiro criticizes the administrators for catering to these childish demands instead of enforcing rules and maintaining order. Shapiro emphasizes the importance of leadership and adult responsibility in addressing the current political and social climate. He calls for Biden to be the adult in the room and make decisions that prioritize the broader interests of the country over pandering to extremist factions. Shapiro warns that catering to the whims of childish individuals will only lead to further division and chaos. Shapiro continues by focusing on the rise of conspiracy theories and the decline of religious values. He argues that the lack of a centralizing set of values has led to the elevation of conspiracy theories on both sides of the political aisle, as well as a sense of victimization among the population. He emphasizes the importance of transmitting cultural and moral values, traditionally done through religion, to provide a framework for understanding the world and making sense of events. Shapiro argues that religion has historically served as a centralizing force in society, providing a shared set of values and moral guidelines. With the decline of religious participation, there is a vacuum that is being filled by conspiracy theories and political narratives. He emphasizes the importance of transmitting cultural and moral values to future generations as a way to maintain social cohesion and stability. Shapiro criticizes the current political climate, where politicians on both sides of the aisle cater to extreme views and engage in wishful thinking. He points out that the Biden administration is trying to wish-cast itself to victory by appealing to the far left of their base and painting a rosy picture of the economy. However, he argues that the economy is overheated due to excessive spending and lack of concrete plans to address long-term issues such as Social Security solvency. Shapiro calls for a return to rationality and fact-based politics, where decisions are guided by evidence and reason rather than ideology or conspiracy theories. He highlights the importance of addressing real issues such as Social Security solvency and the retirement age, even if they are politically sensitive topics. By focusing on practical solutions and shared values, Shapiro believes that society can move towards a more stable and prosperous future. Shapiro delves into the economic challenges facing the United States, including weak capital investment and productivity growth since 2008. He mentions a report from McKinsey that suggests emerging markets may see improvements in productivity growth due to new global demand and labor shortages. While there is optimism about AI's potential to address economic issues, Shapiro questions whether it will truly solve the lack of innovation and economic malaise outside of Silicon Valley. The collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge serves as a focal point for discussing the government's response to infrastructure challenges. Shapiro criticizes the White House for not taking immediate action to address the bridge collapse and emphasizes the need for swift rebuilding efforts. He suggests that Biden could gain a political win by prioritizing infrastructure spending and addressing ongoing liabilities. Shapiro shifts the conversation to the ongoing legal battle between Texas and the Biden administration over immigration policies. He criticizes the administration for suing Texas to prevent measures aimed at closing the southern border, highlighting the influx of fentanyl and the need for stronger border control policies. Shapiro questions the government's approach to immigration and its impact on national security. The podcast also touches on the media's treatment of political figures and commentators with differing viewpoints. Shapiro discusses MSNBC's rejection of RNC chair Ronna McDaniel as a contributor and the subsequent backlash against the network's president. He highlights a contentious exchange on The View involving writer Coleman Hughes, who faced criticism for his views on race and anti-racism movements. Shapiro emphasizes the importance of civil discourse and intellectual diversity in political discussions. Shapiro analyzes the implications of Congress passing a federal budget 6 months into the fiscal year. He expresses concern over the proposed budget's excessive spending and tax hikes, which could further increase the national debt. He discusses the role of the Federal Reserve in managing the economy and the potential impact of interest rate cuts on inflation. He also addresses the growing trend of dollarization among America's adversaries and its implications for the strength of the U.S. dollar. The conversation shifts to the role of gold investment in times of economic uncertainty. Shapiro interviews Philip Patrick, a precious metals specialist from Birch Gold Group, who discusses the benefits of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation and currency devaluation. Patrick highlights the risks of excessive government spending and the potential for dollarization by other nations. He emphasizes the importance of financial preparedness and diversification in uncertain economic times.